Go for it.
Welcome to Be Now. My name is Don McLeod, where we discuss what is happening in and around Brampton. Today, joining me as always is Fazel Khan. Faz, how's it going?
Hi, Don. Busy week in Brampton.
Well, busy day today, actually, right? So it's been a busy day and a busy week, and a whole bunch of different things going on in the city today, especially at City Hall regarding the 6, the 5, the 4. So what's in the envelope this week, Faz?
Thank you for asking, Don. As you can see, the envelope is actually addressed to us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it actually got here properly this week. And let's see what's in the envelope. Drum
What do we
roll,
got?
please. Oh, what do you
guilty.
think that's about, Don?
Well, that's what we're going to cover today, because we're at a press conference that was held by Patrick Brown and the 4 other councillors. And it was all in regards to Elaine Moore and the 6 councillors down to 5 now, because Charmaine Williams is at the Queen's Park. And their attempt to put Elaine Moore into the seat which was not vacant before, thus violating the Municipal Act. It all started when Martin Medeiros said this basically back in council. If you want to play that clip, we can revisit it.
I didn't know where we were going with that clip first. Okay, here we go. Martin Medeiros, which started this.
And I say this respectfully. But where there's ambiguity, and be it not ambiguity, even if this council decided to go against the Municipal Act, it's our prerogative. So if we go against the Municipal Act, let's just say we go against the Municipal Act. Who's telling us that we can't? Is it you, City Solicitor? Through you, Mr. Mayor? Can you tell us and stop us from moving a motion that goes against the Municipal Act?
Is it you, Don?
Yeah,
is it you, Don?
That's his job, right? That's why you hired a city solicitor to tell you not to do stupid things, you idiot, right? So now, Harcrete took it to court, Superior Court, and today, Superior Court ruled that yes, they did violate the Municipal Act, and that the CEO told them, Patrick Brown told them they were violating it, the city solicitor told them they were violating it, and now a judge tells them, maybe it'll get through their thick heads, that yes, the Municipal Act is there for them to follow.
So we got a couple of clips here, Don. Let's set up. So Harcrete Singh, Councillor Harcrete Singh, started it all off because he was the one who filed the judicial review. And so let's hear what he had to say.
From day one, 6 councillors behind closed doors to maintain a stranglehold on council at the expense of residents orchestrated this illegal motion. These councillors made backroom deals and chose Elaine Moore, who had 0 connections to Ward 7 and 8, and is best known for her opposition to the LRT and supporting a religious discriminatory policy as a former school trustee to replace Charmaine Williams. Members of the public were also denied an opportunity to apply for the vacant position or to provide input on the selection process, contrary to the democratic precedent followed by every other municipality, including most recently seen in Toronto for the now vacant Ward 1 position formerly held by Michael Ford. During the special council meeting on May 31st, I tried to put motions forward to seek legal advice in a closed session and get a third-party legal opinion on the legality of the motion. Each time, the same 6 councillors denied me. I repeatedly warned them, and I repeatedly warned my colleagues that the motion to appoint was contrary to the Municipal Act during the meeting, which the city clerk and city solicitor also confirmed. The same 6 councillors promptly fired the city solicitor thereafter in a baffling and disturbing move. Fearing repercussions of the legal motion on future decisions of council, and believing it was my responsibility as a councillor to protect the city and taxpayer, I took it upon myself to initiate legal proceedings to stop the appointment so the city could be protected from future legal challenges, potentially saving taxpayers millions of dollars.
Yep.
So that outlines it, right? It's they had every opportunity to get more legal advice. But what they did, and I don't think they mentioned it, the councillor mentioned there, is the 6 councillors. And let's list them, Don. And I know we try to do this every week and we lose one. So there was Martin Medeiros,
Yep.
Pat Fortini, Doug Willens, Charmaine Williams, who's now a MPP, Jeff Bowman, and I forgot the fifth one again.
Gurpreet Dillon.
He shouldn't even be a councillor. That's
Yeah.
why I keep forgetting them. Those 6 got their own legal advice saying that, yeah, it was legitimate to pre-appoint a council seat with the person who's going to give up the seat. Like,
You know,
common sense.
It's funny because that lawyer that they actually took the advice from, I wouldn't go back to that lawyer if I were them.
You know, and that whatever the lawyer, the opinion that he gave or she gave was never shared with anybody.
Well, number one, they never told, okay, there was never a letter or saying this is, you know, blah, 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 the reasons why and everything else. Who's paying the bill for that lawyer? I hope the 6 got their own wallets out and are paying for that instead of putting that through city resources.
So typically what happens is they pay for their own lawyer and then they reimburse it through the city. I would love to see if that's authorized by the council.
Yeah, and I think Patrick Brown, the mayor Patrick Brown, said today, what was the cost today, Faz, that it cost in this regards? It was $20,000.
Yeah, I think $20,000 was awarded to be paid by the, and I think the mayor got it wrong. He said it to be paid by the councillors. I actually think it's to be paid by the city, which means it's you and I and everybody watching today that's going to be paid.
Well, we'll find out. We can get a clarification on that after, because I think it was like it was actually packed news conference today. It was in the mayor's office. There was, as you can see, reporters from all sorts of news outlets. So it was.
So let's hear what the mayor had to say.
Yeah, let's hear.
And let me say what happened was wrong. It was an attempt to seize control of the city, flagrantly ignoring the Municipal Act, thinking that these councillors were above the law. And what was most disappointing is, you know, we've got some long-time staff at the City of Brampton who are simply there to provide advice to council. Our city clerk said very clearly this was in breach of the Municipal Act, and they ignored the city clerk. The city solicitor said not only was this in breach of the Municipal Act, but left the city at considerable exposure. And the response was to fire the city solicitor. This is on top of firing the integrity commissioner. And I'm glad the Superior Court has stepped in and held these councillors to account. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in the Municipal Act, which governs municipalities. And I don't believe there was ever a situation in Ontario where something like this was attempted. I know many of us who defended the position of the city clerk and the city solicitor feel vindicated.
Here's the funny part. If you play that clip with Martin again from the very beginning, because I want to bring something up that you played before.
Okay, here we go.
And I say this respectfully. But where there's ambiguity, and be it not ambiguity, even if this council decided to go against the Municipal Act, it's our prerogative. So if we go against the Municipal Act, let's just say we go against the Municipal Act. Who's telling us that we can't? Is it you, City Solicitor? Through you, Mr. Mayor? Can you tell us and stop us from moving a motion that goes against the Municipal Act?
Okay, so here's the thing. These 5 councillors, down to 5 from 6, they always talk about how they've been bullied, Are you telling me, looking at that, that's not bullying a city staff member?
Well, you know, isn't firing the city?
You know, that's a direct, you know,
isn't firing the city solicitor the extreme form of bullying?
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is, he's pointing him out and saying, basically challenging him, saying, who are you to tell me what to do? Right? And if that's not basically the standard of what bullying is, that's exactly what it is. He's telling him, you know, you can't tell me what to do. I'm head and shoulders above you. Who are you to tell me what to do? And let's go through the list of people they fired. They fired the CEO. They fired the HR director. They fired the integrity commissioner. They fired the director of communications, and the public works manager left, right? So it's like we have got a whole bunch of head staff there that are basically have been left rudderless at this point in time. And it's not by Patrick Brown and the 4 councillors. It's by the 6 councillors that are claiming that they're being bullied. And I might add, one of them is Gurpreet Dillon, who has basically had sexual harassment charges against him, against a woman in a hotel room, basically saying no, not 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, 74 times he said no before he stopped. So how is that not bullying? And this is the kettle calling, the pot black, right?
Well, and Darshan raises a point, and I've seen this point raised a few times. It's like, why can't they all get along? Clearly, there's something wrong with, who's wrong here? If you look at the 5 councillors or the 4 councillors and the mayor, the only one of those 5 who was on the council last time was Michael Pileshi. If you look at the other side, the 6, the 5 remaining have all been councillors before. They should know much better than what they did.
Well, they should, but and here they want to bring back Elaine Moore, one of the most caustic councillors that this city has ever seen. Now, I know Azad said, what are the consequences of the violation? I know Patrick did address that. I don't know if you have the clip on that one.
I do, and he was referring to the Integrity Commissioner. Let's listen.
We've never seen an attempt in Ontario to illegally take control of a city. And if residents want to file a complaint to the Integrity Commissioner, they could do so about what's happened. I would note they fired the Integrity Commissioner for going against them as well. And so we are in a gray area where the people responsible for upholding the Municipal Act have faced retribution from these councillors who felt they were above the law.
And that's it in a nutshell. They felt they were above the law. As you heard Martin say specifically, we can do whatever we want, right?
Well, and I don't think it was in that clip. We have another clip where the mayor says, really, the only thing you can do is file a complaint to the Integrity Commissioner. And so,
which is under the Municipal Act. And again, so we have to follow the Municipal Act, but apparently they don't.
Yeah, and so as that, I think you or somebody should file an Integrity Commissioner complaint.
Yeah. If you think the consequences, you can file a complaint with the Integrity Commissioner. Since we don't have one, the Integrity Commissioner complaint has to go through the Region Appeal. So you have to file that Integrity Commissioner complaint through the Region Appeal because we don't have one. Just to let you know.
Okay, and so let me bring up a comment by Ivan because I don't want to give these the councillors that caused this airtime, but I've seen this comment because those councillors issued another statement.
Yeah, we're going to get into that after, but yeah, if you want to bring it up now.
Okay, so they issued a statement basically saying the RCMP needs to get involved, and let me put Ivan's comment. RCMP investigating mayor at City Hall for criminal offenses. Is that in the envelope? No, it's not in the envelope because it's not happening. You got 4 councillors who wrote a letter. That's what they did, saying that they want to get the RCMP investigated. The RCMP is not investigating.
5 councillors. So here's the thing.
Williams didn't sign that document today.
Oh, he didn't sign the document today?
He's on vacation.
Oh, nice. So here's the thing that happened. So this came out. The Superior Court ruled in favor, basically, of saying Elaine Moore did not have the ability to sit in the seat. The 5 councillors basically violated the Municipal Act. So what do the 5 councillors do today? They issue a press release saying, oh, we think the RCMP should now get involved. So they went through, they fired the Integrity Commissioner, but they did have...
Well, we also gloss over the firing of the Integrity Commissioner. The Integrity Commissioner was hired by 11 of the council members unanimously. And I hear Jeff Bowman constantly saying, I didn't know that he had the history he did. All you had to do was Google the CAO. The CAO's name, right? They all hired the CAO unanimously. And he's complaining he didn't know about the history of the CAO. A Google search of the CAO's name will bring up all of the history.
Yeah, but these guys are, they're basically it's smoke and mirrors, right? They're talking the RCMP and they're trying to connect what's happening with the leadership debate to something going on in the Ryerson University. What are they going to call in the Interpol next? For a parking ticket that he got over in Spain or something like that. I mean, here's the thing, right? These guys are supposed to be at City Hall working for the residents of Brampton, not for their own particular selfish reasons and their own visions of grandeur. Maybe Martin Medeiros wants to run for mayor and he's trying to do brownie points, right? It's only making him look worse. And the other 4 that are following around like puppy dogs are even looking sadder, right? So here's Martin trying to build himself up as some sort of egomaniacal person that could run for mayor and run the city. You can't even run a press conference. So how can you run the city? And to take out stupid letters on this thing, now you want to get the RCMP. What do you think the RCMP is going to say to these idiots? They're going to say,
well, where's the evidence? Oh, we think
somebody
passed
so
money under the table to a councillor.
We think that there's something wrong with the Brampton University, so we're going to hire some outside audit, and we're gonna try and find something. We don't know if there's anything there, but we're going to try and find.
Maybe Pat Fertini is going to submit his manila envelope as
yeah.
Meanwhile, we haven't even seen.
Meanwhile, they're spending more than $1 million on a broken down piece of garbage barn, and it's going to cost more than $1 million. Brampton University, $600,000, right? So now they're worried about the Brampton U and contracts, but Jeff Bowman rushes through $1 million for a broken down barn that basically you can't use the timbers for. There's no investigation on that, right? How about the $1.7 million for a walkway that Pat Fortini and Charmaine Williams passed through, right? Almost 20, what was it? $28,000 a foot for this bridge in Ward 7 and 8. There's all sorts of things. I'd love to get on here.
There's also bigger problems ahead. So the mayor raised something that I'm not 100% sure what it was, but he says the city is liable for something. Let's listen.
Absolutely, they're liable for some of the things that were passed on the 6-5 vote.
And just to repeat very clearly, it vindicates the decision not to attend those 2 council meetings that were missed. If we had attended those 2 council meetings, every decision made at those council meetings would have been successfully challenged. This is not what city council said. This is what our own city solicitor said, that any decision made could be challenged. And so the legal cost for trying to defend a challenge against the advice of your own city solicitor, the city not only would have lost, but we would have had to pay cost. So I want to thank Councillor Vasante, Councillor Santos, Councillor Paleshi, and Councillor Singh for doing the right thing, to listening to our civic officials and protecting the taxpayers from further exposure that they could have had from this illegal maneuver by these councillors.
Yeah, and it goes, the thing is, I was going to say beforehand, it was like, I'd love to get on here and give a little bit positive news, but these councillors are supposed to be working for the city residents of Brampton. I'd love to get on and talk about, we got a hospital, we got more than 250 beds. The councillors are actually working in our favor and going to Queen's Park and lobbying for more beds, or the HMLRT is going up to Brampton, or we're getting this or we're getting that. I'm not doing that because basically these guys are embroiled on a regular basis. And even now talking about, let's bring in the RCMP. It's like, you know what, guys? You're paid to do a job for the residents of Brampton. Get your ass in gear, get back into council seat, and start doing what you're paid to do. Not running around doing these stupid investigations and you're saying a blowtorch is being taken to democracy. What I see is a blowtorch taken to my wallet and all the residents of Brampton. We're not getting our taxpayer dollars worth out of our elected officials. That is for sure.
So Karen mentioned, one approach that the councillors could have taken today. And I think we all know the mayor at the next council meeting, he's going to be friendly and jovial with everybody because he tries to bring everybody, he keeps using the word big tent conservative party. But today, I think at the conference when we were at, he said big tent. He tries to bring everybody into consensus. And, so he's going to do his best, I think. Look, these councillors today, instead of issuing yet another press release with no teeth into it, other than dropping words so that people can start getting, all in a frenzy again, they could have just said, you know what? Obviously, our opinion that we got from the lawyer was wrong. Let's move forward. How can we do that constructively?
Exactly. That would have been the big thing to do. But instead, they doubled down on their pettiness and their stupidity. And now they issued another letter saying, we want the RCMP to investigate, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you know what? We're dealing with nincompoops here, right? It's an embarrassment. They talk about Patrick bringing embarrassment. They are an embarrassment to all the residents who voted for these people on a regular basis. The municipal elections are coming up October 24th. I would love to see who is running against most of these incumbents. And it's like we need some people with at least a half a brain to be able to work and get the city moving forward.
And, you know, unfortunately, I haven't seen too many people put their names in as candidates for office. So if anybody's out there, you know anybody, it's tough right now, right? Because it's already July. You only have July, August, like a little over 3 months. You're going against incumbents. So if you are even thinking of doing it, like as Ed mentioned, you know, he might want to do it. It's going to be hard. Your chances of winning against an incumbent are not great. But somebody like Gurpreet Dillon, does anybody in the city want to see him back in office?
Well, the thing is too, it's like, you know, there's councillors that have their pet projects and basically they go off and do whatever they want and nobody hears from them. This is not what residents paid for. They don't pay a hefty salary to our councillors, whether it be city or regional councillors, to do this and that and the next thing and write letters about, you know, and get the RCMP and everything else. From this investigation that the so-called investigation that they want to do in the Brampton U, you know, they didn't have that investigation when they spent $700,000 on the Brampton U with the previous council, right?
And got nothing at the end of that, right?
They had no review of the $1.5 million that they gave to the Brampton Beast that no one knows where it went. Where's the review of that?
I hate to keep bringing this up, but when Brampton Focus got $150,000 to run a neighborhood watch program, Jeff Bowman wanted to do an audit of us.
Yeah, on $150K. Meanwhile, he doesn't want to do an audit on a $1 million barn that basically the architects say is a piece of garbage. 20% of the timbers are only usable, and forget it. You might as well use the rest for firewood, right? So as I say before, I mean, you know, that's sour grapes with the neighborhood watch. We're not going to run that again. It's something that's gone and past. We spent our own money for 3 years before the city actually decided to do something. So we didn't ask for reimbursement from my pocketbook or your pocketbook to over the 3 years that we ran the program. Not only, and that doesn't include time and effort and our hourly fee. So forget about that. But there's more important things. But the important things are to get the city moving and do stuff. There's all sorts of projects in the downtown core. There's all sorts of things that could be done. So instead of fighting, like you said, all they had to say was, well, we made a mistake. Let's get back to work. Instead, they issued another stupid press release, right? And going forward, it's just going to look worse and worse on them because it's going to backfire. There's no way.
So, you know, I know a lot of residents are probably thinking, well, why is this happening? And it is because the group of six. It's hard to. We should give these groups names because it's hard to identify them because they're so evenly split. We should say the mayor's side and not the mayor's side. Right. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But the progressive side of council, which is the mayor, Paul Vicente, Rowena Santos, Harpreet Singh, and Michael Pileshi, you know, they want to see the city move, and the others want to go back to whatever it is. And so the non-progressives, I don't know, they're jealous. I have no idea what it is, but they've started investigations because they think something's up with the money that's being spent in certain projects. So these investigations have started, and when the non-progressives had the majority vote, okay, you know, they're going to choose their own audit firm. They're going to be they selected three of themselves to oversee the audit group, and their whole goal was to find evidence against another councillor. How fair is that, right? That's not the role of a councillor.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And then, you know, they call that they've been bullied, right? So, you know, let's see, 5 big men. They've been bullied by Rowena Santos, a 5'2", 110-pound woman, right? It's like, really?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, let's be honest here, right? They're going after the one woman left on council, Rowena Santos, because has been the champion for Brampton U. And so they're going to make her the scapegoat. So let's see what Councillor Pileshi had to say at that meeting on the 31st, because he was asking to be part of that team.
Yes, he was, the audit team to select the auditor. So let's hear what he had to say.
I just want to say that I won't be supporting this. I didn't support the start of the audit. I felt that, you know, I did want to be part of the steering committee just to ensure the transparency. I don't think that I wouldn't, if I was on the steering committee, I certainly wouldn't have taken part in meeting with any auditors directly without staff there. Actually, I wouldn't have done it at all.
Point of order is they're putting the dignity of the councillors in question, because the idea that it would be more transparent because you're part of this process, you're indirectly accusing those three of not promoting transparency, and that is a slight on our colleagues. I won't accept that. Thank you.
That's laughable. It's slight on our colleagues. Meanwhile, he has no problem slagging Rowena Santos or Patrick Brown with that press conference they called last week, because basically there was something going on in the leadership campaign. He had no problem bringing that into the mix and slagging him, even though there was no connection with what's going on in Brampton U, right? So it's funny,
even their press release today, they put it on city letterhead and issue it. There's 4 of them, and they're saying the city of Brampton. To me, it's like an integrity commissioner should look at that and say, "What are you guys doing?"
Well, I think Patrick at the conference talked about, basically he had talked to the Minister of Municipal Affairs, and I was talking to him about going forward. So I know Rowena Santos and Harcrete put a motion forward saying any new councillor would have to be schooled in the Municipal Act, which to me, if you're a councillor, you take it upon yourself to actually read the Municipal Act and understand it. Obviously, these councillors, either they can't read or they don't understand it, or as Martin said, maybe they all feel entitled and they can do exactly what they want, anytime they want, regardless of the consequences and how much it costs the city of Brampton and the taxpayers.
Okay, so Don, we're running out of time, so I got 2 more clips. Well, we actually have a lot more clips, but I only want 2.
Just play 2, and then we can always post them later on our website.
So both are from Mayor Brown, and one was, kind of justifying not attending meetings because they were slagged over the last week, especially when Patrick and the leadership issue rose and they disqualified him. The 3 councillors last week. Remember, we had that special show.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's listen to the mayor.
I know we were attacked for not attending meetings, but we knew that if we did, it would cause massive exposure to the city. Our city solicitor said very clearly that any law, any bill passed by an incorrect composition of council could be successfully challenged. So right now, the court has found these 6 councillors responsible for $20,000 of costs for what they this illegal motion that they rammed through. But I have to say it goes well beyond the $20,000. We're already seeing one of the decisions of our planning committee being challenged. And so the city could face significant exposure for what was attempted over the last month. And I'm glad that it's now clarified that what they attempted to do was egregious, it was wrong, and it was illegal. But if the city does have to face additional lawsuits because of what happened in the last month from motions that were passed at the planning committee, I hope these city councillors that were behind this know that they're responsible. Brampton taxpayers should not be responsible for their illegal shenanigans. What they did was wrong.
I like that, shenanigans. Nobody uses shenanigans anymore, right? It's like,
Is that an Irish thing?
Well, it's it's an old English, shenanigans, right?
Okay. And then the final one, and I'm probably going to be writing a story about this because it's obviously at a press conference like this with Toronto media, the big question is, are you running again? And are you running, what are you doing with, what's the update on your appeal with Marie Heinen? Heinen or Hennen? Marie Hennen?
Hennen, I think it's called.
And so the mayor didn't really give an update on that because it's in the hands of his lawyers, but he did kind of respond to, is he running again? And the reason I'm going to write an article is because yesterday at the town hall, there were a lot of calls that came in with people saying, please, Patrick, can you run for mayor? So let's listen to what he had to say.
So I know we've already been asked that question. I'm gonna take some time to decide. Listen, I've been through a lot the last week, and so I'm just heartened by the support we're getting in Brampton. We had a tele-town hall last night, and to hear residents who really agree with the approach that I believe is important for the city, the province, and the country is encouraging. But I'm not going to rush into any decisions. So no matter how many times you ask the same question, unfortunately, you have the same answer, that it's a little bit premature. Antonella.
All
What
right,
do you
well, there
think,
we have
Don?
it.
Is he running?
Yeah, I believe he's running because number one, I don't think there's any candidate out there that could possibly do the job that he has been done. He is integrated within communities across Brampton that have never been integrated before. I know he's. You've seen him work, and I've seen him work on the leadership campaign as well. It's very impressive. He speaks to a lot of people. He covers a lot of ground, and the thing is that some people don't like him, some people like him, but that's a decision, and the voters will test it out when the time comes on October 24th.
All right, Don. So we have exhausted all of our time.
right.
Next week, hopefully, we can have a few new candidates on to give us their pitch as to why the city should vote for them. What do you think about that?
We can, if someone reaches out and they want to talk to us about why they're running or what they're running for, what their platform is, sure. We'll, going forward, we're looking for different people. We're looking for different ideas. The city is a large mosaic. I mean, Brampton is one of the most ethnically diverse cities in North America, I believe, not only Canada. And there's a possibility that, we have a big change in council. Hopefully, there is progressive candidates out there that want to make positive change for the city and not disrupt it on a regular basis. It's funny. I mean, you have fights in Toronto and stuff like that, but you don't have the type of thing that we've had here in Brampton. And it's unfortunate that you have to drag out on a regular basis. And there's certain blogs that continually bring out, they're looking for content that's always on the negative rather than the positive. And like I said before, I'd like to voice more positive stuff and grill our MPs and our MPPs on what they're doing for Brampton and not just quick sound bites. So going forward, yeah, that's what we're going to be concentrating on. And after October, I want to dig down for, a lot of these promises are made by MPs and MPPs going forward.
So Don, when we were talking about doing the show way back when, I wanted to call it something like the sizzle. Are we gonna? Can we call it the sizzle going forward?
The hell's a sizzle? No, that's
we're gonna sizzle the guests.
The hot seat or something like that. I think you wanted to call it. But if you get invited to the hot seat, it's like, well, would you really want to come on? It'd be like, okay, I know I'm going to get grilled on this one, right?
Well, you know what? We don't get personal, Don. It's if you can defend yourself, we want people there. We want people to tell us we're wrong. Prove to us we're wrong when we say stuff.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of times we have an open invitation. We've had an open invitation for 6 years that we've been doing this to any councillor, any MP or any MPP that wants to come on and talk about whatever is going on. But don't expect us to just sit back and say, yeah, okay, great, thank you very much. That's not what media does, and that's not what journalists are supposed to do. We're not calling ourselves journalists, but we're definitely media. But at the same time, we're not going to let you get off and say, okay, well, that's great, thank you very much, and walk away. If you're doing something positive, fine. I'm not going to slag everything going forward, but the HMLRT was a prime example that started off in 2014. Why are you voting for it? Why are you not, right?
Maybe we should get Michael Paleschi on and ask him why he voted for the LRT, and if that vote was to happen today, would he vote in favor of it? I would love to know that.
He voted against it originally.
Right. So I'd love to know why, and if he would change that vote now. I'm curious.
Well, I told you before, one councillor I asked, why are you voting against it? And he said, because I would not get reelected. That was his reason why he voted against the HMLRT.
Yeah, but Michael Paleschi is way out in Ward 2 and 6, nowhere near the LRT.
Exactly. So anyway, I'm sure it's going to come up. There's all sorts of things coming up. The thing is that you and I know that basically there is not a lot of exposure for city councillors to explain their decisions in Brampton. We have basically a couple of blogs that are one-sided. You have us. You have other ethnic media that cover more ethnic media than anything else. And then you have the Brampton Guardian, which gets $700,000 from the city, and probably about 80% of the people don't get it. So there's no coverage, right? That's why today in the media, the room in Patrick Brown's office, there was, how many media were there from Toronto and how many were from Brampton?
All the big guys were Toronto and all the little guys were from Brampton.
Right. So, I mean, at least we do what we do and we don't get paid for it. They do, we don't.
Yeah. All right, on that done, we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you.